Today we're driving the 2025 Ram Rebel X. We have the 3-liter inline 6, the Hurricane. It makes 420 horsepower, 469 pound-feet of torque. Some really fun numbers there. That's connected to an 8-speed automatic transmission. We have 4-wheel drive auto, 4 high, 4 low, and 2 high, as well as a rear axle lock. There's also off-road cruise control, a slight lift with this Rebel over the standard Ram with the Bilstein suspension, and this is a special edition, this Rebel X. This celebrates 10 years of the Ram Rebel. I've got to say, inside, it's been a while since I've been in the new Ram, and this is just a really nice interior. I love the material on the steering wheel. There are enough physical controls to kind of get what you need done here. Climate mostly works with the temperature controls on the side, and you have this huge tablet screen in the middle, which in the past, with Stellantis products, has been kind of finicky and buggy. This week, it's worked pretty well. Would I still like a few more physical buttons? Absolutely. It would be nice to have physical buttons for your heated steering wheel, heated seats, stuff like that. But it is nice to have CarPlay in this huge tablet where you can fit all of your apps on basically a single screen, which is pretty wild. You've got quick access buttons for your home, your media, climate control, and you can see this is still kind of laggy. Yeah, all right. We need to speed this up a little bit. This Ram Rebel has great vehicle cameras, forward, back, surround cameras. You can see it all. I would like them to use this screen real estate a little bit better, though. There's more space taken up with the icons than the actual cameras themselves, which is a bit strange. The rest of this interior is really well laid out. We've got water bottle and cup holders down here. This really clever wireless charging pad area. Big, deep storage space. All of your math homework right here. And some more storage right there. This center console is awesome. And then, of course, you've got this Rebel X commemorative plaque, 2015 to 25. Seats in here are beautiful. Got this dual pane panoramic sunroof. Tons of space in the back. Suede inserts here on the seats and the door panels. Let's hop outside and we'll take a look at this Ram. Oh, and we also get this Harman Kardon sound system, which is fantastic. I think it might be my favorite sound system in a modern truck. This is painted in Delmonico Red Pearl, which looks pretty good on this Ram Rebel X. We've got 33-inch Goodyear Wrangler Duratrack tires. Nice, big, meaty, chunky treads. Great in the mud, great off-road. Not amazing in the wet and the snow, but they get us through it. Looks proper. Do I miss the old V8? Yeah, it sounded so good. But I will say, this new Hurricane Inline 6 is so smooth and so torquey that it kind of has its own merits and own positives over the old V8. There's just a lot of power here. It's still, I mean, it's rated for pretty high fuel economy. 24 on the highway, 17 in the city. This week I've been averaging in the teens somewhere, but it's just such a smooth engine that it almost brings a luxury truck character to this Rebel. See the Bilstein dampers in there peeking out. On both sides of this bed, we've got our Ram box. Nice little extra storage space there, though it does impede on room in this bed. This is a pretty narrow truck bed. So pros and cons to the Ram box. It is an auto-powered tailgate. Starting price on this Ram Rebel is $66,000. As tested, this is $78,780. We'll put all the details in the description with options and accessories, but still get up there in price, but for what it is, it does drive so well. I spent a lot of time in this truck this week, and I really have enjoyed living with it. It's not too big on the road. It handles nicely. It looks good. The interior is just appointed beautifully. Let's hop on the passenger side, see what rear seat space is like. Yeah, tons of space back here. This is hugely cavernous. Nice kind of center armrest console area here. Using that middle seat. Kind of interesting, these Velcro pads here on the side. Nice big storage cubbies, lots of water bottle holders, USB ports. This has heated rear seats, which is awesome. 115 volt, 400 watt AC outlet. This Ram Rebel also has the passenger screen. I guess we can hop in there and check that out real quick. Probably an option I could do without, honestly. These press cars always come fully loaded, so they'll just give you everything. All right, so you can control, you know, your video, USB 1, USB 2, your HDMI ports, music. That's nice to have, I guess, if you're on a road trip and the driver can't see the passenger screen, so it's just kind of single direction. Tune, scroll, volume knobs right here, more climate controls. I like this little pocket right here in the center area. That's nice. All right, Ram Rebel, you guys get the idea. This 3-liter Hurricane turbocharged inline 6. Again, really smooth, pretty much lacking in all personality. It just isn't a very exciting engine, but it makes great power, it's quiet, and yeah, it's really hard to beat the smoothness of an inline 6. Supposedly it's a little bit more fuel efficient. Car companies these days, they need to navigate regulations, changing rules, emissions, all that stuff, and these are some of the compromises that we're going to be seeing and changes that we're going to be seeing going forward. After living with this truck this week, I think in this case, I'm willing to sacrifice some personality for comfort and torque. All right, so we've got a new steering wheel here, adaptive cruise control only, no standard cruise control on the wheel like we get in some other Stellantis products. You've got this driving assistant here, which works pretty well. We'll test that out on the highway. Some inclement weather in today's drive. Paddle shifters behind the wheel, volume and track selection controls. These are kind of these split paddles, which are interesting. Kind of clever design there. I like that we get a traditional shifter down here with a sport mode. We'll have to play around with that a little bit. We're going to leave this in 4-wheel drive auto for the majority of this drive today, just because it is a little bit greasy outside. All right, let's go get this on the road and see how it drives. Got a few different gauge cluster designs we can choose from. Traditional TAC and Speedo, and then you've got this multi-gauge display. You do digital speedometer, and then of course there's a ton of different menus. You can see tire pressure. Tire pressures in this Ram Rebel are extremely high. Placard, I believe they're 55 front and somewhere in the 40s for the rear. So that could be part of the lack of traction that this has in the snow. It's a good sounding school bus. Super smooth shifts from this 8-speed. I like the steering. I like the feel of this wheel. It's really chunky. Doesn't feel too big though in hand. And the stitching is really nice. We've got this kind of medium gray stitching in this Ram Rebel X. Very easy to change following distance settings. Brakes feel good, lots of bite. I like this tiny blind spot mirror. The last Ram we had the tow mirror package, and you really couldn't see anything out of this truck because the mirrors just blocked all of your intersection spots. It was just a huge, almost dangerous blind spot in your front 3/4. And these mirrors are great, no issues. Quiet, even with the sunroof open or peeled back, the shade peeled back. Very little wind and road noise and NVH on the highway in this truck. Well, it's sport mode. There we go, for whatever it's worth. this inline six just, it never really sings. Tons of power though. And you just gotta love how smooth it is with that 8-speed automatic. The calibration here is just about perfect. Paddle shifters, downshifts are super responsive. So are upshifts. I've pretty much just left it in auto all week. Tons of traction and four-wheel drive auto. That's really great to have in this inclement weather. Ride quality is decent, especially given the tire pressures. Really does a nice job smoothing over the bumps that we have this time of year in Michigan. Roads are pretty rough. We've had a lot of freeze-thaw cycles, so everything is just bumpy no matter how you cut it. But this Ram seems to kind of bulldoze everything really well. Stop start is completely seamless. Comes on immediately after you let off the brake pedal. It works so well, I haven't really felt the need to turn it off all week. No major complaints this week. If I had to nitpick, I would like a tire on this Ram Rebel that just performs a little bit better in the wet and in the snow and ice. This Goodyear Wrangler is a very impressive tire off-road. It's awesome in the mud, but it lacks in outright performance in the wet and the snow. There are some better options on the market, but the tire does look really good, and it is kind of a classic part of the Ram Rebel. Take it through some snow up here, see how it does. Steering, fantastic. Suspension feels great. Dynamically, this thing just drives awesome. Let's throw it into two-wheel drive. Gotta hold that button. Turn traction control off. You can have a little bit of fun before stability control kicks in. Other minor nitpicks would be nice for the infotainment to be faster and just feel like a tablet from 2024, 2025. And I could use a few more physical controls. This is a truck after all, and I feel like truck buyers like physical buttons. That said, after living with it this week, everything in here works pretty well. There's lots of settings, lots of deep menus where you can go in and customize features to come on automatically, like your heated steering wheel, your heated seats. This tablet screen seems to have everything organized pretty well. Your heated seat and heated steering wheel controls are this little tiny icon in the top left. It's kind of hard to press sometimes when things are bouncing around on the road, but it goes away after a few seconds after you've made your selections. Cruise control, super easy to operate. Active driving assist works well even on back roads. You just got to keep your hand on the wheel. So we get a few different drive modes: sport, auto, off-road, tow, snow. Maybe we'll go into snow. Kind of weird how when a message comes up, your tachometer vanishes, and then it shows you this little tack, and then it switches back to this gauge display. A bit weird. Driving assist doing all the steering here, really navigating this road well. Oh, lane detection limited, just canceled. But it beeped at me and told me that it canceled. That's nice. There isn't really a way to disable the steering assist without just turning everything off, which is a bit of a complaint of mine. So if you want to disable the steering, you pretty much have to go back in and re-enable adaptive cruise control, which can be a little bit tedious. Following distances seem to be pretty good. This is the closest following distance we're on right now. Let's see how close it'll get to this Volvo in front of us. Yeah, that's pretty close, pretty tight. And then you can increase that to the 4th setting and it'll back off, but not too much. I don't feel like I'm holding up traffic behind me with this adaptive cruise control system. It works really well in the real world. All right, we're on Hines because we're gonna find our little off-road course. Off-road, it's just bumpy. So we'll see how this Bilstein suspension performs on it's a rough, flat road, but there's some pretty big bumps, a couple of water crossings, and we'll see how this does. I'm sure the Duratrex will perform flawlessly. We're in 4-wheel drive auto. We'll probably just leave it there. Maybe we'll switch into off-road mode too. Who knows? Wouldn't hurt. I think ultimately what you need to know about this Ram Rebel X is highlights are super smooth powertrain, incredible sound system if you opt for the Harman Kardon. It's just out of this world phenomenal. It really, really enhances the sound experience. Let's go to off-road mode for whatever it's worth. I don't know if these water holes are frozen or what the deal is, so we'll just kind of figure it out as we go. Some branches in here. That's interesting. I think everything's just frozen. That's just what it is. Some bigger bumps right here. Yeah, suspension does a great job soaking that up. I wonder if the tire pressures are set to be so high from placard for fuel economy, because this seems like it's excessively high for a truck like this. Unless if you were towing, it just seems like it's kind of outrageous. All right, it looks like they've blocked this so that people don't drive over it. But you know what? We're in a Ram Rebel and we're going to be rebellious. I'm sure a lot of people just drive back here in their regular sedans, get stuck, need a tow truck, and no one wants to deal with that. But yeah, this is usually a pretty bumpy section in a lot of trucks. I kind of remember the Ram Rebel being a little bit stiffer before, but this feels great. It really does navigate some of these bumps very well. This is where things start to get a little bit tight, so we might scrape a little bit. We'll see. Might also just be able to just barely squeeze through. Yep, we can make it. And we'll turn around up here. One cool feature this Ram has is it has adjustable pedals, which make for really nice driving position. great truck to live with this week. Way more comfortable than I thought it would be. And the interior is just downright luxurious. It really feels nice. Could definitely do without some of the options in this spec. It does bring it close to 80 grand, just about like every truck we test these days. But again, I think you could do without a lot of this stuff and get by just fine. It's a good looking package. I'll just avoid these bumps. I think all the water holes are frozen, so we're just kind of floating over stuff, which is just fine by me. And these tires do okay in just soft snow. It kind of turned to glass in ice, but otherwise. Not as grippy in the cold temperatures as the KO3s that are on my Ranger Raptor, but I think you'll get by just fine in different climates on these Duratrucks. For how aggressive they are and how they almost perform like a mud terrain off-road. They're actually pretty quiet at speed. You can hear a slight howl from them, but overall, the road noise isn't as bad as you would think, given how aggressive the tread design is. All right, let's wrap up with a sound system test. We have to do it. I've just been listening to music nonstop on this thing all week, and it's been so nice. Go into our sound system test playlist. There we go. Nice big volume knob right here. Phenomenal soundstage, so clear, really powerful, not too much bass. I'm just gonna turn it down for a sec so you guys can hear what stop start sounds like. Completely seamless on startup. It's awesome. Watch the revs. Comes on immediately. All right, guys. Well, there's a video on the 2025 Ram Rebel X. Don't press that because everything turns off. So weird, but that's just the way it's always been. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. I've enjoyed living this truck this week. We've had a little bit of snow, some cold weather. It's a fantastic daily. I don't really know what type of fuel economy it's going to be getting. You could probably match EPA ratings on the highway on a longer road trip if you keep your speeds down. But to live with on a daily basis, there's a lot to like here. It's some of the best interior bits and nicest controls and buttons and switchgear that I've felt in a Stellantis product. Really the only thing that I'm looking at right now that looks cheap is just this like painted side gloss plastic right here. That's it. Everything else is really, really nice in this interior. And for the money, it feels like you're almost buying a luxury truck that could cost a little bit more. If you go easy on options, you might be able to get out the door at a reasonable price on one of these. And it's a really nice truck to live with and drive on a daily basis. Lacking a little bit of personality without the V8, but I'm okay with that. The the extra refinement and smoothness from this Hurricane Inline 6, I think makes up for that. So it kind of depends on what you want. If you want the V8, you can go get a used Ram Rebel. But this Rebel X, I think, is a great package. And it kind of surprised me this week because I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. Okay, that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the next video. Take care. Lots of skid plating underneath as well. Fuel tank cover. Transfer case cover.